Hello, Gemini, and welcome to your December forecast. And as much as I wanted to have both a December and a November forecast, we're just going to be doing December this month. The reason, of course, is I've been dealing with some health issues. Thankfully, I'm on the other side right now, but most of November, I was just in bed. I had to rest and take care of myself. And I was telling the other signs that, sometimes I like to pretend that I'm a machine and I can just keep doing things nonstop, but the truth of the matter was I had a really massive sinus and ear infection and I was on so much medication that I couldn't. So thank you for allowing me to basically repair, recharge, and give you the sort of reading that you deserve, which is when I'm fully tuned in and capable of basically being the channel that I am. One thing that we're going to change up this month is this is going to just be 1 month, and we're going to go back to those monthly readings, and I'm flipping around the order, going back in the order of the zodiac, so you'll be among the first to get January. Okay, so I'll continue to experiment with some changes in the format for January. For this month, it's going to be a full Celtic Cross, regular extended forecast, and I'll pull a karmic card to help you out as well, all right? As always, let's begin with channeled messages. For you, what I keep seeing in my mind's eye is like a daisy or a sunflower. And because it reminds me of a star or of the sun, we're really going to be looking at like the solar plexus and focusing on leading the charge rather than following other people, especially when I think of the sunflower because that follows the sun. And whenever that comes through, I think of Queen of Wands energy, which is a boss. She's a leader, not so much a follower. I want you to follow your instincts. If there's anything that you're following, it's that. But then you're going to bring those into action and set the tone. Then you're going to enter into that leadership energy. The other thing is I'm thinking of the energy of fire, passion, creation. Where does it exist? Where does it lack? We'll take a look at the cards today and make sure that you're getting that sense of fulfillment, that passion, that joy in your life as well, okay? Again, from my heart to yours, a lot of love and a lot of appreciation. Thank you for allowing me to recharge and reset. Let's get started. All right, please take a moment to close your eyes. Imagine that the sun is shining directly overhead and it creates a natural circle of light around your body. Within that circle of light, you are protected and connected to source energy. Let's call in your angels, spirit guides, and ascended masters and see what December has in store. So far, so good. All right, let's get started. Before we get into the catalyst, we're going to take a quick look at a karmic card for the previous month. As promised, this is going to give you a little bit of an idea of what it is you need to release. So the karma from the previous month is actually pretty good. November, we have 10 of Pentacles energy coming forth, which is completion. It's interesting that we have this gigantic eye at the center, and I think they even put the final pentacle within that eye. So there might be something right in front of you where you're missing like the final piece. It's done. Something has already reached its phase of completion, but you may be trying to perfect something that's already exactly where it needs to be. So let go of things that are done. This is also a card of networking. Typically, you would see a bunch of people in this card. And so it's a reminder not to forget the team that's worked with you to get to this point, and not to forget the importance of friends, family, and coworkers, because they're all part of this card. There might be a distraction, again, with that central eye. What are you putting your time and energy into? Does it make sense? Does it connect all of the dots and bring you closer to what you're trying to do? Finally, there is a contract or something that is ready to be signed, sealed, and delivered. So as we step into December, let's make sure that we keep our promises, that if you're looking for a commitment from someone, now is the time to make sure that you get that before the year has wrapped up. And again, finish what you've started. A very good, a very auspicious karmic message from November. And now focusing just on the catalyst, what a beautiful image this is. So we have two sort of like, what would you call them, handcuffs, but they're open up here. So it feels like some of you have released some sort of a hold on something from the past. This could be, for some of you, the feeling of being trapped in a relationship, trapped in a way of thinking. You're no longer shackled to that. But the interesting thing is that sometimes it feels empty. We get used to something even if it isn't allowing us to grow, because it's something that we at least can, know how it's going to be. The devil you know, basically. I hate that phrase. You know that if you watch my channel. The devil you know is still a devil. But it is a sort of blanket of comfort. So we're stepping free of that. And for some of you, it could just be being a workaholic, because the Ten of Pentacles combined with this can be hiding behind work or a task. And what we see here is that it's no longer serving you. There might be someone who didn't want to commit, because this can be someone who is basically just afraid of being tied to a person, place, or thing. So let that go. Let the person, let the energy, let the thought process go. Unshackle yourself and know that something better is coming forth, okay? As we take a look at the two center cards, I see an interesting correlation. Eight of Pentacles can be about writing things down, getting them cemented. The Hierophant, also a very organizational card. So with this being basically the heart of this spread, it's going to be important this month for you to really focus on creating a foundation, something that you can stick to, something that's organized, even if that's normally not something that you'd like to do. You always have the capacity once you create something to revise it, but you need something to at least begin with rather than just winging it all in general. Hierophant is also connected to spiritual development. So anything that you are tapping into creatively or spiritually this month, we also see a solidification of that. There can also be arbitrary gatekeepers with whom you're going to have to work in order to get things done. Some of them may have to give you that rubber stamp approval. The good news with Eight of Pentacles is we do see wishes coming true. It's interesting because this is normally someone working and kind of like hammering out all of these things in an assembly line. In this card, we see things in motion. It's going to be important as we look at December for you to have the ability to see things short and long length as well, or short and long term, I should say, and take time to look around. Not so razor focused, but taking in the big picture. This card is also connected with education, knowledge expansion, learning, apprenticeship. You can actually soak in a lot of information and put it to use this month. And when it comes to productivity, I would say maybe second only to the Eight of Wands, you have the ability to set things into motion. So I quite like the first two cards. Let's see what's coming through in the deep past here. We have a beautiful interpretation of strength here. For a second, I thought it was reversed, but it's actually in the upright position. It's just showing that sometimes there's an extra push that's necessary to take you to the finish line. And honestly, in the deep past, it looks like you've already set yourself up for success. You've done a lot of the heavy lifting, but you may be entering into December with a little bit of fatigue. Rest, take care of yourself, and know that a lot of the heavy lifting is already done. So if this card was reversed, you'd still have to lift it. Now it's kind of a matter of just follow through, letting it go. This is also a time during which you really want to prioritize your physical and your mental well-being. If there's anything that's weighing you down, if there's anything that's creating that feeling of being shackled, you've already done what's necessary to break through. It's just sometimes a matter of articulating it and saying what you feel here and here, like I'm done or I'm ready for this. You have what it takes to face any challenge that comes across your path. The Strength card is a formidable card, basically. This is one that I'd want on my side if I had to fight for something. So I'm feeling pretty good about what you're bringing into this month. Let's take a quick look at recent past and see what might be influencing your present state of mind. So we have Page of Cups in reverse. And for some of you, Your head is somewhere else. Look at this octopus or squid that's kind of got its tentacles all around this person's head. You could be worrying about what someone else is feeling, what someone else is thinking, what someone wants you to do. And that's occupying too much of your space, your mental real estate. This is your moment to embrace what you need, what you want. Also, if there is someone in your life that needs a little bit more support, maybe it is a family member that's just going through a lot, boundaries are key. This person's getting under your skin, and so it's going to be vital for you to create space to rest, to meditate, and just to have healthier boundaries. That's one thing that I see here. Heightened sensitivity whenever any of the court cards are reversed, particularly when we're looking at cups. And so your ability to not take something personally could be, something that could create problems right now. So when someone says or does something, create some distance from that. Think about it today, think about it tomorrow. See if you still feel the same the next day, and then that might be the time to react. Because what I see here might be a tendency to go a little bit too intense in the emotions of something. So one step at a time. And if there's something that you want, speak up. Sometimes a page in reverse is muting their voice, worried about communicating, and this is a time to really embrace that communication of what you need, what you want, and get it in writing, by the way. If there is something, especially if it's been challenging and you fought for it, make sure that you get everything in writing. Crowning position, we have the 5 of Cups. It is reversed. That's auspicious. Some of you are starting to see things for what they truly are. You're no longer looking at the spilled cups. You're focusing on what's upright. And I really love how bright the crown chakra is on this. If we get a little bit closer, it's almost like a light bulb. See that? Things are starting to lift. They're starting to go in a new direction. And as we look at this, it almost reminds me of an hourglass that's spinning. So when you shift your focus and your perspective, time also starts to move in a different direction or at a different speed. There could be a new relationship that's revealing itself to you. You could also just be feeling this sense of optimism, hope, or clarity that wasn't there before. And that's what we see with that beautiful, bright crown chakra. A change of attitude can also change your trajectory. So each day, hit the reset button and think, yesterday was challenging, but today is a clean slate. What can I do today to get me closer to my goal, my dream, or my vision? As we look at the near future here, we have Emperor energy upright, which is actually auspicious, and it leads us to the Judgment card in reverse in the outcome. So don't second guess yourself. That's really what I'm getting here, because this can be doubt. But this is the antithesis of this, and what we really want you to do is believe in yourself. I like that the Emperor is sitting on like a crystalline throne, really feeling like they are clear in their decision making. They are concise, they are direct. All of these things are going to help you accomplish anything that's in front of you, any sort of goal. The diamond energy that I see here is also quite interesting. Diamonds are strong. They're multifaceted. They're clear. So when you're looking at what your next step is, look at it with that crystal clarity. Look at it from all sides and all angles. Give yourself enough time to really trust what you already know beneath the surface. I very rarely will jump to the last card, but Judgment in reverse is doubting what you already know. And I don't see a reason to doubt yourself here. Give yourself as much time as you need, but by the end of the month, it feels like a pivot or a move or a leap of faith is underway. You're regaining or reclaiming your power this month, and it's a time for you to stand up if you need to. I'm getting a very Tauran energy there, so for some of you, there might be a Taurus placement, or there might be a Taurus in your life that you're partnering up with. That looks auspicious as well. Let's see how you're showing up. Pretty good. We have the King of Pentacles, but he is reversed. So some of you are reprioritizing your needs. I want this right now. I need this right now. You're speaking up in that form and doing so again with clarity, without apologies. You may be taking some of your resources and investing them in yourself. This is a common theme that I've been seeing as I'm doing these last 4 signs. So don't be afraid to speak up and to treat yourself if you've worked hard to get to this point. It's interesting that this king is wearing a veil. Very rarely would you see that. The veil is it's kind of like grapes, because that's usually what you see, all the vines around him. There could be something that you're missing. So King of Pentacles, when reversed, can sometimes be focused on money, power, prestige, opinions, the material, the sort of like, it's not the most important thing. We need to ground ourselves this month and focus on what matters most. Don't pay attention to all of those sort of shiny things. Instead, pay attention to really what matters for you. The pentacle at the center is what you've been working to create in your life. It could be your legacy, it could be your goal, your vision. It could be a part of yourself that you're really excited about developing. That other stuff, it's just trappings of success. And the word trapping is interesting because sometimes it does just that. It traps us in place. So who cares what people think? Who cares how much prestige you have? Money, you can't take it with you. But if you've done something that you're really proud of and that you can own with success, like, look at what I did, I feel like this made a difference, you can't really put a price tag on that. So I think some of you might be recalibrating what success means and what you're getting out of a situation. And it's not just the traditional things that we associate with someone that's powerful or someone that's successful. We're looking at impact. We're looking at, going back to the beginning when I said passion, leading the charge. You might be doing something just because it feels right. You've got to have the passion this month, okay? And what we see in the environment is the Knight of Pentacles. So once you let go of something, we quickly see an upgrade or something bigger, better, brighter coming forth. There could be someone, and it's kind of shrouded here in like they haven't fully come in all the way into focus. There may be something that's developing, a new relationship, a new job opportunity. And it's up to you to let go of trying to make it happen sooner than it needs to, or force the connection. Let it come to you, actually, on some levels. You focus on getting yourself grounded this month, taking care of yourself, articulating your vision, looking around. And you may take note then when something like this comes marching in, okay? Meet opportunity halfway. And when it comes knocking, say yes. There's not always moments where these doors are opening, but you have an open door here in the environment. We have Knight of Swords in Hope, Fears, and Opportunity in the reverse position. Some of you may need to edit, revise, or somehow kind of like rethink a contract or something that you're doing. This is about pumping the brakes a little bit. So when that opportunity comes in, take time to check your heart, see how you feel. If there's new love or new relationships coming in, slow down and enjoy. In general, slow down and enjoy your life. For some of you, it could just be a feeling of emptiness syndrome. You just want to immediately put something else in the place of whatever's gone. And sometimes we just have to sit with ourselves for a minute and know that we're enough, right? That you're enough. If there's something that needs to be said, this is about spitting it out, because yes, it can be slowing down, but it can also be about articulating something without like kid gloves. So revise, edit, slow down as necessary, and articulate what you need to say or and do what you need to do. And then I think the most powerful card here in the entire spread is Judgment. When the card is reversed, like it is today, this can represent doubt. You know that something needs to happen. You feel that something needs to happen. You might even have that calling, that, epiphany from the other side. But there's something in you cognitively that's trying to overthink it. And so you resist the necessary change. It's time to let that go. It's time to embrace the change, to finish what you've started, and to basically allow yourself to reimagine what things could look like. This is rebirth. This is release. This is the phoenix rising from the ashes. When one door closes, something bigger is opening up to you. This is the penultimate card, the second to last in the spread. And so there's nothing to fear when Judgment shows up. It is an indication of just how close you are to something amazing happening. Don't let yourself second guess where you need to be, what you need to be focusing on, etc. Why don't we transition into the expanded forecast? I think this is going to give you the clarity that you've been looking for. We'll, of course, start off with health, which is your mind, body, and spirit. So as we take a look at your health card here, we have grab your monster by the tail. Very interesting. So we'll bring it up to the main camera here. This is about facing your fears head on. And we have a little tiny dragon that she's holding onto here. So reclamation of power. And the way to get that done, or the way to achieve that reclamation, is to say, this is what I'm afraid of. How can I educate myself, inform myself, reduce the sort of feeling of fear or uncertainty so that this no longer has dominion over me? This is also about not chasing after your own tail. Sometimes that's all fear is. We keep chasing ourselves in a circle. Slow down, take a deep breath, and see if it doesn't just pass through you. In Dune, there's that litany against fear where basically it is an emotion that we allow to pass through us, and then once it's done, the truth of you remains. You're no longer beholden to what if, or usually it is just like a worst case scenario, like a Nine of Swords moment where you're building it up to be something more than it needs to be. Just stand still, breathe, tell yourself in a mantra form, I've got this. This is not as big as it feels. I'm going to be stronger than I imagine. Because if you need to meditate on a card, you actually have it here in your deep past. You can face it head on and you can succeed here. Okay, let's go deeper here and see what might be coming through here with health in particular here. So again, don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to learn. Sometimes we hold back a little bit when it comes to talking to a doctor because we're afraid of a worst case scenario. Why not just get the information and then start to figure out if there's even something to worry about, or if there is, what the next step will be, okay? All right. Limiting thoughts, beliefs, and activities. Some of you are ready to let go of maybe an addiction, maybe a codependent relationship. I like that the shackles are open, and it shows me that you have the ability to bounce back from this. It is important to have a structure and some support in your life. And that's what we see with both the Hierophant and the Emperor. Very, very sort of organized, very strict, very clear. So if you need some help, that's the place to go. Other things to look at. I mentioned earlier, this is a month to focus on mental and physical health. And if there is something that is triggering you emotionally to get the support that you need, I do see you turning a corner here with the Five of Cups. With all of these stationary cards, Hierophant, Emperor, and the King of Pentacles, three king-like cards, there may be too much stagnation in your life. It's important to move, and it's important to move parts of your body that you haven't in a while. With all the seated cards, it could just be, your feet, your leg, lower extremities. Make sure that you're stretching. Make sure that the blood is flowing when it needs to and where it needs to. And try not to overdo the richness of what it is that you're treating yourself with. A little chocolate is fine, a little bit of wine, a little bit of sugar, but anything in excess becomes problematic, and this card is one of excess. Familial and peer pressure could be putting a lot of stress and strain on you. Boundaries are going to be important if you're feeling that. In general, just slow down the pace of your life this month. Make time for meditation, make time for yourself. The Judgment card is a close call. So some of you may have, like I said, you might be overdoing something, you might be overcoming an addiction. It might be a bit of a struggle on the beginning, but you are able to overcome whatever challenge is in front of you. Take a look at interactions that you might have between multiple prescriptions or something that you're taking in your diet or an allergen. This can be a card of interactions. And that's everything for health. Why don't we move on to wealth? All right. As you know, wealth is resources, life purpose, and career. And we have a tower energy coming through here. So it reads storm, spirit, and chaos. With the card reverse, we can very much interpret this as a change that not only is necessary, but perhaps one that is of your own creation. I like to think of tower reverse moments as someone taking a wall and breaking it down in their house because they want to open up the space. It can be a decision for early retirement. It can be a decision to get a divorce. It's typically something that you know is going to take some work, but you've chosen and you've embraced that decision. So as we're looking at your career, there may be a very pivotal but well thought out change. But with that being said, whenever we have a tower reverse moment, there's definitely an energy of right here, right now. So let's break this down. We have 5 categories in the area of wealth. We're going to start off with those of you that are employed first. Looking at the previous month, you've done the work and you are ready and deserving for a level up, a step up. Some of you don't really want to sit around and wait for for the powers that be to make up their mind. And if we just jump forward, you don't have to put it out there as an ultimatum, but you could very much be clear, crystal clear, in what it is that you seek. And if they don't provide it, have your plan B ready. I think it's worth articulating it first, though, because we see strength and power, we see the ability to lead, and we see someone here that just needs to make a decision. If they don't, if they falter, and if they go counter to something that was written, well, first of all, then you might have a leg to stand on. But either way, you might just say, hey, we talked about this. Why isn't this happening? Have your plan B ready, though, if that's your path. Now, for everyone else, here's what I see. You need to probably request a little bit more assistance here with the King of Pentacles in reverse. There is someone that is around you that is willing to take as much as you're ready to give. So have boundaries, speak up, be realistic. Your creativity feels a little bit stunted where you're at. So if there's something that you really want to do, slow down and fight for that. Articulate that. Tell them why it's worthwhile. I think the biggest challenge is someone who is very, very rigid. Like they just want it in a certain way, in a certain form, and they don't want you to rock the boat. You have to sort of spell out why it's worth rocking the boat and why in this moment in time, playing it safe actually isn't going to get anybody anywhere. But all of that being said, this month is manageable. I think that you have the ability to get a lot done. People will take note of the good quality of work that you're doing. Emotionally, it's a little challenging, but practically and technically, you're showing up in the way that you need to. Things go quickly this month, so make sure that you're where you want to be by the end of the month and definitely into next year. Set the goal, set the plans so that, again, if you're not getting what you need, you would at least have some sort of written correspondence showing why you're upset and why they need to follow through on something. Ultimately, I see you producing and doing a lot of great work and maybe just needing a little bit of support, but otherwise, it's a pretty good month for those that are employed this month, okay? This is more of a long-term creative frustration. Some of you just want more creative power, more freedom, and it may be hard to get that where you're at. So it's thinking 1 or 2 years down the line where you see yourself next. If you're entrepreneurial, if you have your own company, here's what I see. I actually like where you're at, where you're starting the month. Strong brand awareness, strong foundation, a decent amount of money, a decent sort of feel for what's going on. There may be a little bit of malaise or emotional disconnect on your part, but I actually feel like you've chosen leadership wisely. I think one thing that's important is to slow down and really look at financial investments and diversification in your financial investments. If you're doing too much work, hire someone. Definitely it looks like there's a lot going on and you could benefit from that. This is interesting though. Knight of Swords in reverse. Slow down long enough to articulate to yourself, to your stakeholders, to the people, your customers, like what it is that you're trying to do. Because sometimes we just have this energy of forging forward without the vision. Slow down and clarify, with crystal clarity, what your vision is for you, for your company, for the next couple of years. That is going to help you open up new doors of opportunity. I really like what you're coming into this month with, though. 10 of Pentacles, 8 of Pentacles. Feels pretty solid. I think you're in a good space. So just keep up the good work and stay clear as possible when it comes to your communication. If you're seeking employment, really, really, really scrutinize the next opportunity because we don't want a repetition from the past where you are tethered to something longer than you want to be. There are a few opportunities here. What I noticed between these, though, like if we connect the Knight of Swords reverse to Judgment, something needs to be revised in a contract. Make sure that you get a second set of eyes on that. When we look at this Knight of Pentacles in the environment, it's actually being paid or titled the work of the Knight of Pentacles, but you're actually pulling the weight of the King. So make sure that it's worth it. Make sure that the title and the pay are in alignment with your experience, which we see here. This seems like it's below what it should be. Your ability to communicate, particularly your either verbal or written communication, will be what sets you apart, or your presentation skills. So take your time when it comes to that. Don't rush something out of the door. Your ability to do something without typos or with this visual flair is really what's going to get you noticed and seen. one solid option. I think the other ones, there's something going on with pay or title, and the other one, there's something in the contract. So make sure that you take your time. But I do see the ability for one option here. It's going to be very hard to get the level that you want right now. That doesn't mean that that's going to be the same in January, but right now we're fighting for either pay or level. There's something that's off a little bit, so that's going to be your biggest challenge. Students, actually a pretty good month. This is the apprenticeship or the learning card. Very good. This is a great teacher or great teachers. Make sure that when it comes to something that really excites and intrigues you, that you're putting enough of that in your curriculum, in all of your classes, including things that get overlooked sometimes, the elective classes. Make sure that there's some fun stuff there. Overall, you have one of the strongest spreads that I've seen so far for students, but what is a little frustrating is the judgment in reverse card. There could be too rigid an approach in your school or in your curriculum for what it is that you want to do, and you might have to, doesn't mean that you have to leave this course of study behind you or leave the school. It means that you might need to augment it with the proper internship or extracurricular. You're going to do a little bit of self-taught work, but overall the degree still is good. There's just some things that are lacking there. So maybe you can also work with an advisor to do an independent study or a specialized major, and that could be good for you too. So see if you can get some credit for some of this stuff that you're going to do outside of your curriculum. Because when you're in a sort of bleeding edge course or something that just isn't as well represented in education as it should be, you have to sometimes create your own course. So I'm picking up on that. Retirees. You actually have an opportunity to make some money right now if you want to freelance or mentor. So that is one thing that's coming through. There's a lot of familial pressure or happenings right now. It feels like there's a need to just kind of sit back and relax. Sometimes one of the hardest things when you're retired is to sort of like understand that you don't have to fix everything or help everyone with everything. Find some fun in your life. The judgment card in reverse is inviting you to imagine a completely different version of yourself now. You don't have to please a boss. You don't have to please your family. You don't have to meet expectations. You can do something just because. And judgment in reverse is saying your biggest challenge or enemy here is yourself. So just go for it and maybe don't even tell people about it for a while until you've had a chance to feel comfortable with that change. Okay? Let's change to love now and see what's coming through in all types of relationships. So we have a card around grace. I would even pull in a little bit of gratitude with this too. But grace is interesting because it can be grace under fire, grace even when you're in the middle of challenges, and taking a step back, not taking the bait if someone's trying to argue, not letting your emotions get the better of you, and instead being the rock, being the solid person in a relationship. Let's break this down. For those of you that are partnered, here's what I see. A firm foundation. Two very strong and very equal types of partners and leaders. A lot going on. It feels like your mind is really fixed on money, on schedules, on the big picture. There is some emotional tumults going on right now, and it feels for some of you like this could be a little frustrating because you're being pulled in two directions here. So one of you might be wanting to try something new. One of you just wants to stay at home, or like I feel this deviation or this sort of this fork in the road when it comes to long-term goals. Talk to one another. Ask questions. That's the missing piece. That's why in Hopes, Fears, and Opportunities, we have the Knight of Swords. Don't cast judgment on someone else's idea before they've had a chance to try it or you've had a chance to sit with it. And if somebody tries to shut you down before you have a chance to move towards something, say, you know what, I wasn't really asking. This is a time to liberate one another and give each other the freedom to explore things. So no harsh judgments. Make time for one another. Talk about the emotions. And it's okay to have differing interests and goals, but as long as there's enough in common that you're still kind of on the general same trajectory, okay? Single and looking, can you find love? Yes? We have a lot of experienced energy coming through, and this is probably people you already know. There may be someone that's young, but they're an old soul. There could also be someone that actually has a different, like they're in a different age bracket by up to 10 years. As long as there's common interest and this is something that you mutually are cool with, that's not going to be a big issue. But time and again, we're getting like a major shift here in age or maturity with the Knight and the King of Pentacles. The only challenge that I see for some of you is pulling in someone that is a facsimile or too similar to you. The other thing is there may be someone that doesn't listen very well. They talk a lot, but they're not listening. So let this opportunity come to you. Let this love come to you. Focus instead right now on getting organized, kind of recalibrating emotionally and mentally and physically. And then you're going to be able to meet what looks like it's going to be an earth sign coming into your life. Could be a Taurus also, given the bull that I'm seeing here. Okay. If you are single and happy, good for you. Here's what I'm seeing for single and happy. You have a great capacity this month to birth and create. You have a great capacity this month to set things into motion and into production. And this is a perfect opportunity to learn. This is, in fact, one of the best cards for apprenticeship. So you may be deciding to teach or to learn, since we have teaching cards right underneath this. So either way that you look at this, it looks pretty good. What I like from a resource perspective is this isn't a sign that seems to be struggling too much at the moment with the 10 of Pentacles, the 8 of Pentacles, and here in the environment, the Knight. The only thing that you might need to do is speak up and say what it is that you want or what it is that you need. But overall, I quite like what I see here. Let's take a look at your Destiny card here. Ascension. Move into your true self. Rise above the darkness. The light is here. We have Serapis Bay. What's cool about this is it's perfectly aligned to this. Judgment is rising up from any challenge, any setback. The Storm card that we saw coming through, chaos. It's bringing order to chaos. That is what the Hierophant does. And you're doing all of this with a sense of grace and dignity. You're overcoming your shadows, your fears, and your doubts. Whatever monster is there, you're realizing that sometimes it's just your own shadow that you're chasing, right? So you're the light, you're the source. The block is a fear, it's an anxiety. It's not as big or as real as it may seem. And it feels like you're ready now to move into the energy of the world here, or the Ascension card, which I love. Let's look at one final question, one final card. Whatever it is that's on your mind, go ahead, place that into your mental space, and let me go ahead and give the cards a shuffle and see what Spirit has to say. Fantastic. All right, if you asked me a yes or no question, this is incontrovertibly a yes. The fact that it's reversed is saying there may be a little bit too much attachment to wanting to see the validation from someone else. This is about foundationally building something that matters to you. Four of Wands attracts what we see in the background, those two people. So partnership, friendship, connections, they're incoming, but they're not here just yet. You may still be in the middle of the storm or the cloud. You may still be in the process of ascending. You may still be getting your head out of that sort of boxed in way of thinking. And you may be focusing too much on the details and you need to look around like this card is showing. If and when you do that, that's when you start to see people, places, and opportunities incoming. But what we are looking at here with this is something that has the ability to stand the test of time. Four of Wands is one of the best cards you can get. I'd even prefer this sometimes to like the Two of Cups or the Lovers, because there is the promise that the two of you have one another's back. So I see some sort of pivotal advisor, relationship, or connection that's incoming. And for you, whatever it is that you're looking at doing, make sure that the foundation is super firm and really you're not taking any shortcuts, okay? And that, my friends, is your December forecast with, again, that little bit of a November holdover here, which is finish what you've started. So thank you so much for your patience. Again, this is the first time in over a decade that I had to take care of my health. But, you know, every other job out there, you get a sick day or you can take a week or two off. When you're producing content, you can't always do that. And I think that people take for granted that content creators are people. I saw some comments. Most of you were okay with it, but like, when is this coming out? And I was like, I just can't. So thank you for giving me time. I never want to do something half-hearted. And hopefully you got what you needed here. If you did, give me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe. It's 100% free, and it helps more than you would have imagined. So if you've been a long-time lurker, why are you lurking? Just join this family. It's good. It's easy. It's free. You can also show a little bit of love and support through a sticker or by becoming a member. And like I said, that really helps me, especially if I have a week or two or even a month where I can't produce as much. It shows me that you guys have faith and support in me. And so thank you from my heart to yours. I appreciate it. You can also join me on social media. It's always my full name, Nicholas Ashbaugh, on all the major platforms. And if you need a little bit more of direction, you can go straight to my website. Official links are there. All of these links are also in the description box below the video and on my main YouTube channel page, which again is at Nicholas Ashbaugh. You're here. It's the same one. And that, my friends, is everything. Thank you so much for being amazing, for being the absolute best part of what I do here on YouTube. I want to say thank you. Let's give Apollo a pat on the head, and we'll wrap up from there. Hey, buddy. Who's a good boy? Yes. Good boy. Thank you. Have a great month ahead. A reminder, I'm here every weekend at 9:15 a.m. on Sundays. I do daily card readings and monthly as well. Until I see you again, be well.